everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I thought I would exploit Australia's national holiday of Australia Day, which is this Friday the 26th of January, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 iconically important Aussie childhood things that I feel like every child in Australia, at least like millennial wise, and I don't know about now, but anyway, millennials anyway, experienced in their childhood that were like really important things or moments and memories. I feel like while these are definitely Australia based, I feel like some of them maybe are what people in other countries do. So do let me know if this is something that you guys had in your childhood if you live overseas. So let's just dive right in. The first one, fairy bread. You honestly have not lived until you've had this delicious bread of the fairies. I made this especially for this video and I have no regrets. I honestly feel sorry for those of you who live outside of Australia who have absolutely no idea what it is I've just shown you. It was, and I suppose still is, a staple at kids' birthday parties. If your mum did not serve fairy bread for your birthday, I can assure you there was probably riots and no one would want to come back to your birthday the following year because you were known as the kid who didn't serve fairy bread. If you're confused about what fairy bread is, let me enlighten you with a little cooking tutorial. So really basic, 3 ingredients: white bread, butter, marge, some sort of spread, and hundreds and thousands. You start with nice fresh white bread, spread it with a nice layer of butter or margarine or whatever your spread is, and top it off by covering it with hundreds and thousands, you know, the little round sprinkles. Any divergence from this recipe is honestly blasphemy. I don't care if your parents were healthy and only had grain or wholemeal or rye bread, it's white bread or nothing. And don't even think about using anything other than hundreds and thousands. Don't use those little tiny long sprinkles, and don't even think about using the mixture of sprinkles and hundreds and thousands. Little round bowls of sugar or nothing. And you know what, there'd always be that one kid in school that would bring a hundreds and thousands sandwich to school for lunch, and you'd be super jealous because your mum would always say fairy bread was just for parties or special occasions, not for lunch, but there'd be this one kid that you were just so envious of. It's definitely not something that only kids will enjoy. I feel like if you're Australian, you've like developed a taste that even as an adult you really like fairy bread. But honestly, it's for anyone of any age. So no matter where you are in the world, no matter how old you are, I definitely recommend you go out and make some fairy bread right now at the end of this video, because you will not regret the amazingness that is this awesome party cuisine of Australia. Do let me know your thoughts if you do eat it. Number 2 is Healthy Harold. If you heard that the Healthy Harold truck had been spotted in your town, or you arrived to school one morning and there it was parked outside your school, you knew you were in for a good couple of days. Every primary school student looks forward to a visit from Healthy Harold. You got to get out of class for an hour to get in the back of a windowless truck and learn about drugs and alcohol from a giraffe. No, I am not kidding. Learning about the dangers of drugs and alcohol, and I think the body systems when you were in kinder and those junior years of primary school had honestly never been so fun. Who knew that being taught by a giraffe was exactly what primary school students actually wanted in an education? Of course, you'd reach that fateful day that you'd been waiting for in year 6 when you finally got to see the inside of Healthy Harold's house. Well, that's what you at least told the junior kids when you revealed to them that yes, he had an indoor heated swimming pool, he had a jacuzzi, he had an Xbox and a PlayStation and a Game Boy and a big massive flat screen TV. In reality, you were told that Healthy Harold was just a puppet, even though you had known that for several years. But it was still really awesome to continue the myth of Healthy Harold and how awesome his house was. And it was great to make all the little kids jealous when you finally got to see the inside of his house. To make the Healthy Harold experience even more enjoyable, there was Healthy Harold merch. If you were lucky, your parents would give you a bit of money to get one item from Healthy Harold, and if they truly loved you, they'd give you enough to get a couple of things. And Healthy Harold merch was hot stuff. Pencil cases and stationery sets, bucket hats, yo-yos, friggin' plushies, and I even think waterproof watches was at one point. I really wanted one, but my mum never gave me like the $5 for it. You had to get something because it would be another year before Healthy Harold came back, and if you were in year 6, that was it. If you didn't get anything that year, that was it. The Healthy Harold experience was over. Look how cute he is. Yeah. Next one is car cricket. I definitely feel like this is something that is truly Australian, or at least obviously only to the countries where cricket is a thing. And I don't really hear about it much now, but in saying that, I actually saw one of my friends on Facebook who is a mum of 2 little kids saying that they were playing car cricket, but still, it's not something I hear a lot of. If you're going on a long road trip or even on school excursions on a bus, car cricket was like the ultimate car game that you'd play. Screw playing I Spy, car cricket was where it's at. When you'd start the game, you designate different runs to different vehicles. So 1 run for a car, 2 for a ute, 4 for a truck, 5 for 6 for a bus, etc. And you'd also decide what was out. Sometimes it'd be a red car, others it'd be a Ford or a Holden, depending on player preferences. As a country kid, we'd also always add like tractors on roads or even working in paddocks, and even if there was windmills in paddocks we drove past. I don't really know who came up with this game, who came up with the rules, or how it even spread. It's not like we were Googling this as kids, and it's interesting to see that even though like it was just sort of spread by word of mouth, I think, I'm assuming, we sort of all had similar rules. Even if you played with different people, you'd have a similar basic score card kind of thing. Although you do sort of notice that it changed as the years went by and you played with different people. I do feel like kids today are missing out if it isn't played as much as it used to be when I was a kid. Although I did actually find out in writing my blog post and doing this video that there's actually a car cricket app. So I might link to that below. And number 4, pen licenses. I feel like this is definitely something that happened all over the world, but it was a very important day in your primary school life because it was the day you finally graduated from a pencil to a pen. In my school, we got our pen licenses towards the end of the year. Mine is actually dated the 9th of September 2005, which was in year 4, and that's near the end of term 3, so that way by the time everyone, I think, returned for term 4, everyone would have a pen license. I'm not quite sure how it went. For the entire year, you'd be proving to your teacher that your handwriting was immaculate and you deserved the responsibility of a ballpoint. If you were lucky enough to be one of the first people in your class to get a pen license, you knew you had made it. At my school, our teacher would present 4 or 5 at our Friday afternoon assemblies. So you'd come to school on Monday, pen in hand, ready to wow everyone, and just look down on all the peasants still using their pencils. And yes, I was in the first batch of students to get my pen license, so I certainly did that when I went to school. Actually, that afternoon, I was very excited to go back to class for the final hour and start using a pen along with like 4 other people. And come Monday morning, I was very excited to start using a pen. You felt so powerful to have a pen license, and those people who didn't have pen licenses, they weren't going to risk using a pen in classwork because that shit was illegal without a pen license. Honestly, after you'd finished the year, it's not like your teacher the following year would actually check to see if you got a pen license or not. However, you did always hear stories about older siblings who never received a pen license and ended up anyway using a pen the following year. But you didn't, so even though you were sort of worried but not really worried about getting a pen license, you didn't want to be like the only kid in class that didn't get a pen license. How embarrassing would that be? But for that year and that term when you finally got a pen license, you felt like you were finally growing up, and it was all just because you were finally allowed to use a pen. But look how proud I was. And yes, I still have my pen license. The 5th and final one is Saturday Disney. Now, if your parents didn't love you enough to actually pay for Foxtel and therefore the Disney Channel, you had to get your Disney fix every Saturday morning with Saturday Disney. Without fail, you'd be out of bed with your breakfast sitting on the couch at 7 AM for Saturday Disney to start to get your 2-hour feel of Disney awesomeness. You were treated with some of the most iconic Disney shows from the 1990s to the 2010s, including The Emperor's New School, Hannah Montana, Kim Possible, Lilo and Stitch, Lloyd in Space, Phineas and Ferb, That's So Raven, The Proud Family, Sabrina, and Wizards of Waverly Place, just to name, and so many more. They were just some of my favorites and the ones I remember as a kid. Living in the Disney house looked so fun, and I'm pretty sure it was every kid's dream to grow up one day to move into the Disney house and become a Saturday Disney host. However, the double dog dare in every single episode kind of put you off the idea because some of the dares were crazy and ridiculous and embarrassing, and if a host failed, they had to eat something pretty disgusting. So maybe not everyone wanted to live in the Disney house, but I feel like if you just had to put up with eating one disgusting thing every couple of weeks, it kind of made up for the fact that you were living in paradise. Really, you actually eyed off the letter of the week grand prize at the end of the episode. It was insane and probably cost a couple of $100 to like $1,000+ There was everything. There was like hot toys that were like every kid wanted. There was art sets, there was games, there was magazine subscriptions, Disney stuff, non-Disney stuff. It was crazy, and you'd be super jealous of the one kid that got announced as the winner of that prize pack. No doubt you sent in your own letter or piece of artwork in order to try and get this awesome prize pack, or even just an honorable mention. But I felt like every other kid in Australia was sending in amazing stuff, and chances are you probably didn't get to win. Although, to be fair, the show ran for 26 years. There was a prize at the end of every single episode, so there's probably a ton of kids out there who got these awesome prize packs as kids. If you're one of them, I'm so jealous of you. When I was watching as a kid, the hosts were Shea Brewster, Sally Stanton and Daniel Widdowson, but there were 16 hosts all up between 1990 and 2016, and I do remember some before and after these 3 hosts as well. Every week they'd always have these crazy segments, and it honestly made it look like being a Saturday Disney host was the best job in the world. There's definitely more iconically important things from an Aussie childhood. These are just obviously 5 that I wanted to share with you guys today in honor of Australia Day, but let me know in the comments below some of the other important moments and things from your childhood, and maybe I'll do another video or at least another blog post. I'll also link to my blog post as well. So let me know if you are Australian, what sort of things that you guys have. So let me know if you're a fellow Aussie, what sort of things did you have in your childhood that maybe wasn't on this list. And if you are from overseas, let me know firstly, what sort of like really important iconic things did you have in your childhood, and if there are anything, if it's one of these 5 things, let me know, because I'd love to know like were some of these things overseas as well rather than just Australia. To everyone in Australia, I hope you have a really great Australia Day. On Friday I actually have to give a speech, so that should be really fun and interesting. There will definitely be a blog post about that. Maybe a video, I don't know, but I will see you guys next week with another video. Bye!